Hello and welcome. In this short session, we're going to look at Book Creator and other digital tools which are useful for creating flipped learning content. I'm Kathy Orr and I'm the coordinator of a new KWETB further education and training service called ALISS, Accessible Learning Integrated Support Service. This learning and language support service aims to support a consistency of approach for initial assessment to ensure that learners are correctly placed and supported in whatever further education and training course they are doing. And also the remit is the development of a range of consistent, tailored, embedded learner support solutions, whether that be English language, literacy, numeracy or digital skills support, whatever the learner may need to enhance the quality of their learning experience and support them to achieve their goals. So I really look forward to meeting everyone and collaborating with you in the development of this new service. Learner support can come in many different forms. It doesn't necessarily mean that a learner requires an additional separate class. Under the now familiar ideas of universal design for learning, if we simply provide an element of choice in how students access new material, how they do an assessment, that can be sufficient to open up a course, support them and make the course more accessible for everyone. I'd like to play this little video clip of Sal Khan, the founder of the Khan Maths Academy, and what he discovered from putting his maths videos online.
I want to talk a little bit about really just how I got started. And some of y'all might know, about 5 years ago, I was an analyst at a hedge fund. And I was in Boston, and I was tutoring my cousins in New Orleans remotely. And I started putting the first YouTube videos up really just as kind of a nice to have, just kind of a supplement for my cousins, something that might, give them a refresher or something. And as soon as I put those first YouTube videos up, something interesting happened. Actually, a bunch of interesting things happened. The first was the feedback from my cousins. They told me that they preferred me on YouTube than in person. And once you get over the backhanded nature of that, there was actually something very profound there. They were saying that they preferred the automated version of their cousin to their cousin. At first, it's very unintuitive, but when you actually think about it from their point of view, it makes a ton of sense. You have this situation where now they can pause and repeat their cousin. Now they can, without feeling like they're wasting my time. They could, if they have to review something that they should have learned a couple of weeks ago or maybe a couple of years ago, they don't have to be embarrassed and ask their cousin. They can just watch those videos. If they're bored, they can go ahead. They can watch it at their own time, at their own pace. And probably the least appreciated, aspect of this is the notion that the very first time that you're trying to get your brain around a new concept, the very last thing you need is another human being saying, "Do you understand this?" And that's what was happening with the interaction with my cousins before, and now they could just do it kind of in the intimacy of their own room. The other thing that happened, and even at this point, I said, okay, maybe it's a good supplement, it's good for motivated students, it's good for maybe homeschoolers, but I didn't think it would be something that would somehow penetrate the classroom. But then I started getting letters from teachers, and the teachers would write saying, "We've used your videos to flip the classroom. You've given the lectures. So now what we do," and this could actually happen in every classroom in America tomorrow, what I do is I assign the lectures for homework, and what used to be homework, I now have the students doing in the classroom. And I want to pause here for I want to pause here for a second because there's a couple of interesting things. One, when those teachers are doing that, there's the obvious benefit. There's the benefit that now their students can enjoy the videos in the way that my cousins did. They can pause, repeat at their own pace, at their own time. But the more interesting thing, and this is the unintuitive thing when you talk about technology in the classroom, by removing the one-size-fits-all lecture from the classroom and letting students have a self-paced lecture at home, And then when you go to the classroom, letting them do work, having the teacher walk around, having the peers actually be able to interact with each other. These teachers have used technology to humanize the classroom. They took a fundamentally dehumanizing experience, a bunch of 30 kids with their fingers on their lips, not allowed to interact with each other. A teacher, no matter how good, has to give this kind of one-size-fits-all lecture to 30 students, blank faces, slightly antagonistic, and now it's a human experience. Now they're actually interacting with each other.
I love that idea of humanizing the classroom, because by flipping the content and having students working through the content at home, it was freeing up the class time for discussion and more active learning activities. And I really wanted to try and do that with my QQI Level 3 group. They're very new to technology, and I just had them for 3 hours a week. So I wanted to make sure that I maximize the use of the class time that I had with them. Wanted to make sure that any content I gave them, they had time to work through at home at a pace that suited them and at a time that suited them, because they had obviously other commitments. So I wanted to make it the course content very accessible, particularly the computer theory, which is quite difficult. And I wanted something that would support learners to take control of their own learning. So I decided to put together essentially an interactive course textbook using Book Creator. And Book Creator is very easy to access. You just send students the link and they can click on it. So I could put the link into the Teams chat during the online class, or you could send it by text message, and Book Creator opens and works on any device. On Book Creator, you can insert links between pages, so you can see that I made a home button to take people back to the home, to the index, and I inserted an interactive index where students could just click on the section they needed to get straight to that page. I was able to copy and paste text and images from handouts that I already had, Word handouts, and then as you can see, there's a Read to Me feature on a Book Creator, which makes it very accessible, but this wasn't working too well on the mobile devices. And I also think that it's nice to hear the teacher's voice explaining new concepts. So I inserted a voiceover on each page to make the book very accessible. So the student simply clicks on the volume button and to hear the voiceover.
Other internet uses. We can use the internet to buy tickets to the cinema or to book a holiday.
So that's just a sample of the voiceover there. And the good thing about Book Creator was that I could include links out to other tools or quizzes, and so everything was within the one course book, but there were links out to things such as Quizlet, which was very handy for students who were getting to grips with the theory around the Internet Skills course, uses of the internet features, and all of the new terminology, that they could be practicing this with the Quizlet cards. So once they finished a section of the book, they can just click on the Quizlet, and then they can flip through the flashcards and do all kinds of activities around those flashcards to get very familiar with the terms. And you can also get audio on Quizlet as well, which makes it very accessible. So I'm just going to show you a couple of more things that were integrated into the book. This is a Nearpod. I had this Nearpod lesson made already, where I gave some information about using web browsers. I included a video from the internet on web browsers, the back button, the forward button, the refresh button, and so they were able to click on this link in Book Creator, get through and read the reading piece at their own pace. This is a reading piece that I inserted, and I added a voiceover to it, and then they could watch the video, and then, as you can see, there are some fill in the gaps activities at the end, and the students can do this as often as they like, and they get a real sense of whether they're getting to grips with the material by being able to do the activities. So that was Nearpod. It's a really nice way to make a mini lesson. Also there I was able to click insert a link to another Quizlet. This is for the browser buttons that they were practicing in the mini lesson, and so you can make a set of flashcards with all of the symbols, and then what the symbols mean on the other side of the card. You can flash through those, and then you can also test yourself with match. So this is where you have to match the symbol with the definition, and the students really enjoyed this idea of gamification. There's also a podium which I had to go at, and as you can see, two of my students knocked me off the podium, and I was regularly getting emails saying that they were beating my time. So it's all a good way to get familiar with the new material at your own time and in a way that suits you. It's really important as well to include a glossary just explaining all of the new vocabulary around whatever module you're covering, as it's helpful for students to be able to go and look that up. And finally, just to say that there is a student study hub under development. There is also an ALISS channel for the new service in the professional development team. So I'll put the link to the study hub in the ALISS channel. There will be lots of student resources which they can access themselves on the hub, and the resource that I was showing you there for level 3 internet skills is there already. If you go into course resources and internet skills, you're very welcome to look at that, as I appreciate that this has been a very quick run through the resource, so you can look at it in your own time on the study hub. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of VetFest. It looks like there are some great talks and activities arranged for us.